everybody. So this has quickly become the summer of organizing the house. I've taken a lot of videos and photos that I'm going to be sharing with you. Probably not in any kind of logical order. I'm just going to be sharing them as I get them ready. But we just finished the sunroom yesterday, so I wanted to take pictures and a video before it gets messed up again because, I have a 9-year-old and he's going to play with his toys as he should. So I don't expect it to stay this way, but for now, it just feels really good. We sorted through a lot of stuff. Landon did donate some things, not as much as you would think for the way that it looks. Honestly, a lot of it was just getting the right size bins and getting the things grouped together. You'll see in the photos that a lot of it just looks super messy. And it wasn't just because, sorry about the light, it wasn't just because we weren't putting things away, although sure, that might have been part of it. But I think the reason we weren't putting stuff away is because we didn't really have the right space, the right tools. We were sort of just shoving stuff, even though we were organized before. I don't know. It's just an ongoing process. You'll get it organized one way and then you realize, oh, maybe it's not working like you thought. So then you have to do it again or do it a different way. And that's just kind of part of the process. Some of it is trial and error, which I know is super frustrating sometimes because we just want to do it and be done. But the system that we had worked well for us for quite a while. We've just reached a point where it's not working anymore. And it was time for an upgrade. So we moved from some Dollar Tree 11-inch plastic bins to some clear Target bins in a variety of sizes. So it just made a real difference. And I feel a real sense of peace and calm now that it's done. I feel more apt to want to use the space. I told Landon that it was so much easier for me to concentrate when there wasn't stuff everywhere. And he said, oh yeah, me too. So I don't know 100% how much he feels that on a daily basis, but I certainly do. So it would only make sense that he does. So I'm just hoping now that we have this clean slate that we will be able to keep it up going forward. So I'm going to switch and show you the room. So hang on one second. We're starting a makeover of our sunroom, and I just realized I had not taken good pictures. So I'm going to try to show you the room real quick. We love all these windows, but it makes it hard for furniture because everything needs to be lower than the windows, except for my monitors. There's nothing we can do about that. Okay, so you can see I've already bought some new units from Target and some bins. I have an idea. We're completely reworking this room. It's just always a mess. We never seem to get things put back where we want them, and we're overflowing and we have too much stuff, of course. So I'm hoping that we will be decluttering quite a bit of stuff. But this unit, this is multiple cube units. It has worked well over the years, but it's just time for an upgrade. These are, oh, loud. These are the 11-inch cubes, so it makes it harder to fit things in there. And then these are, I think they call them locker bins or something. They're from Dollar Tree. They have worked great. What I don't like is how they are angled at the bottom and then get wider. Again, it just makes it harder to get stuff in there. So the units that I bought from Target are the 13-inch cubes. Okay, let me show you what these are. They're the Bright Room brand. I am in love with the Bright Room brand, very affordable, but still really nice. These are the 13-inch cubes, so like you can fit, this is like a 12 by 12 bin. You can fit 6 of these in there in one cube. They also have these units that are drawers, which I thought was pretty cool. So I have ideas. This whole wall back here behind my desk is going to become like my household command center for all my paperwork and Sunday baskets and binders and all that stuff. So I'm going to have a couple units here. We're redoing his storage, and we are getting rid of these chairs and getting a sectional, which I think will be amazing and make it much more functional for us. So consider this the messy before, and hopefully I'll have a beautiful after picture to show you when we're done. All right, talk to you later. Here's our new and improved sunroom. It is not completely finished because we're going to be getting a sectional over there where the loungers are. We're going to be getting a sectional couch that's going to be like an L over here. Sorry, that made it blurry. So that will be coming in a few weeks, but we have everything ready to go. And if you saw the other photos, there used to be a storage unit over here. And then, of course, we had storage units over here, but these are the 13-inch cubes. This is a bright room unit. All of these are bright room units from Target. And it just works a lot better than the 11-inch units that we had. There's so much more flexibility. You can see like that's a super large bin. Then down here we have smaller bins. They're supposed to be 4, but I'm waiting on a delivery. But you can see over here, there's 4 of those. And then these are a little bit larger, so 2 of them fit in there. And then this size bin, you can get 6 of them in there. So it's all sort of playing around, knowing what you have, you know, what size you need. Like those 2 are just both labeled miscellaneous, and there's just a ton of stuff thrown in there. But I really, really like these units. And because we got multiple bins, multiple sizes, the bigger cubes, we were able to get all of his stuff in those and just eliminate that unit altogether, which will be wonderful when the sectional comes. You can see that we got the table cleared off finally. Everything now has a home. Some of it was donated, but most of it was put away. Our counter is finally clear, except for that one item, which is no big deal. He's still kind of in progress with it, so we just left it out. And then over in my home office-ish area, nothing much changed over here. I did bring some bins back in for him. I had some of my binders and stuff down here for a while, but I put some of his bigger toys over here and moved the binders, which I'll show you in a second. Made him a little car lot over here for all of his Lego cars, and then my little Lego succulent display. And then, dun, 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 this is my household manager hub. So we've got up top here, these are portable Sunday baskets. These are Sunday baskets and Friday work boxes. My regular Sunday basket that I use sits on our kitchen counter. These are the extra ones, like for my dad, my brother, and the garden. Then we have the binders down here. This is part of the paper solution for Organized 365. I have binders for my dad and my brother. Medical binders for Jim and stuff about his disability. The Warrior Mama binder, also from Organized 365. A separate binder for our taxes. And then some school memory binders down there. And then a bin of stuff still to sort. And of course, a few toys because, you know, what would a family space be without toys? But it just feels so much calmer, so much more usable. I can sit out here and hear the birds and enjoy the nature. And you can see up on top of my little stand, I've got like markers and notepads and things that I use. So I'm just thrilled to death with this space. Landon's having a friend over tomorrow, and he said, I promise we won't trash the space. And I said, go ahead and trash it. Just make sure you clean up when you're done. It is important to me that, he still feels like this is his space too. And just because I want things tidy, put away, whatever you want to call it, organized, I don't want him to feel like he can't cut loose and be a kid and live. I'll even include a picture, literally just yesterday when we finished cleaning, and I was like breathing a sigh of relief that, oh, it feels so nice out here, Landon all of a sudden says, oh, I want to build something. So, we're getting out wood and cardboard and Hot Wheels track and like making this huge thing. But I said, okay, but we need to take it down, before we go to bed so I can get to my computer. And he was okay with it. We set it up, we had fun, we took a video of it for him to remember, and then we took it back down. That's not always the case, but it worked yesterday. But my point is, like, our spaces are always going to be shared spaces, right? We're not going to be able to keep them perfect all the time. Would we really want to? Like, what good is a perfect space if you don't have anyone to share it with, right? So sometimes I think we get in our own way, like we want things to be a certain way and we make it hard for our family. And I'm trying really hard not to do that. I'm trying to let him be a kid and enjoy his space, like just within certain parameters, right? Like, let's have fun. Certain things we will leave out, for an extended period of time. But I do find that, like, once one thing is left out, it's sort of like a magnet. Like, if, one thing isn't put away, then something else will be left out and something else will be left out. And then it just sort of keeps growing till all of a sudden then it's a huge project. So I did remind Landon yesterday when we were sorting some of his Lego. I said, he was kind of joking about like, oh, it's taking forever, And I said, well, let's remember this. And the next time we don't want to put stuff away, let's just say to ourselves, like, no, it's better to take 2 minutes and put it away than to have to spend hours cleaning up and sorting again. And he agreed, but, who knows? Who knows if it'll stick? But it's a learning process for everyone, and we're working on it. But I just wanted to remind you, like, be flexible with your family. You can't always have everything the way you want it. We have to compromise. Like, I'm a ladybug in the clutterbug system, if you've ever heard of that, which means I don't like to see things. And I'm pretty sure that Landon's a butterfly because he tends to like to see things more. So that's why we did the clear bins. And although it wouldn't be my preference, it's what works for him. And it's still contained and it's still organized and it's pretty with all the colors and everything. So that's a compromise for me because I would rather it be like, invisible basically. So it is a compromise, but like, it doesn't feel like I'm really, giving up anything because it's still organized. It's still functional for him, and that's really what I want. So anyway, I'm rambling, but if you're feeling stuck, like just start somewhere. I was feeling really stuck with the sunroom for a long time. It was overwhelming. I didn't want to be out here. I didn't know what to do with the stuff. I just felt like it was a losing battle. And then it started because we started in his room and we had an extra storage unit that I put out here for my binders. And then I realized I needed more space. And I realized how much better the larger cubes were. So then I was like, okay, let's buy some bigger cube units for out here. And I didn't really like have this grand plan. I just started with like, let's get the bigger units and see. And then once you get going, it is so much easier to keep going because you see progress and you start feeling like, I see how I can use the space better. But it's just really, really hard to get started. And I think sometimes we think we need to have it all figured out before we get started. I'm very much that way. Like, I want to know the end before I start. Not always possible. So if you're feeling that way, if you're feeling stuck, just start somewhere, start on the smallest thing, start on one drawer, start on one cabinet, whatever. And then just let go of the things that are no longer serving you, and you will feel lighter. And once you start feeling lighter, then you're better able to make those decisions about, how you want your space to be going forward. So I hope this was helpful. Please let me know if you have questions or if you like this or want to see more of it. And like I said, I do have several other spaces that we worked on. So I don't know what order you'll be seeing these in, but you'll be seeing a lot of me this summer. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.